Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Caroline Anna Sullivan. I'm from the School of Media in the Dublin Institute of Technology, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of the issues around gender parity and electronic music in Dublin. So on International Women's Day in 2017, to much fanfare and media attention, Smirnoff launched their Equalising Music campaign with a pledge to double female headliners at electronic music festivals by 2020. In Ireland, they worked with the Gash Collective and This Greedy Pig to organise a number of female-led workshops for women entitled Move the Needle, with the aim to increase representation of women across all elements of nightlife culture to drive meaningful and lasting change. Nice lofty aspiration. The Gash Collective, who they worked with, was a collective of young female-identifying DJs which had been set up a year previously. And as the founding member Mel notes, I was getting more and more frustrated with the massive gender gap in event lineups, negative and undermining attitudes towards women in the industry in general. It was one of the reasons that spurred her on to just set up the collective. So this paper will outline the ongoing barriers that women face to gain access to all sections of the electronic music scene in Dublin. I outline motivating factors for women to become involved in music performance and investigate the challenges that women face entering the industry. I posit that through social interaction, the prevailing messages that women receive is discouraging to their sense of belonging to the music scene. I contend that rather than gaining access to positions that incur capital, both economic and cultural, such as headliner, producer or promoter, they often continue to find themselves into roles that offer them very little in terms of monetary or cultural reward. Finally, focusing on initiatives such as Move the Needle, I question their impact and consider the strategies that women have developed to encourage and motivate other females to become involved. So I'll come back to Move the Needle in a minute. So just to give you a little bit of background about electronic music in Dublin and my own research. So the initial set of research that I conducted, which is part of my PhD research, was over from 2007 to just around 2014. I've spoken about that and I've published some of that work recently, so if people want to read some of the work there, they can. There's a special edition of Gender in the IASPM Journal, and I've quite a comprehensive article about the issues that women faced over that period. But as I came to the end of that research, I had identified that there was an emergence of female-led initiatives such as DJ workshops and collectives, and I really wanted to go and look at those and evaluate their efficacy. So I decided, well, after a couple of years of getting over the trauma of completing the PhD, I decided it was time to go back into the field and start to conduct some more research. So I returned to the field this year. And so far, so again, the research that I'm talking about with the more recent research, it's research, semi-structured interviews with 7 female DJs and producers, aged between the age of 23 and 34. So it's really at the early stage of this research. But again, what I wanted to do was particularly in light of all of this, the publicity of, a year since Smirnoff had launched their big campaign, I wanted to see was anything really changing for the young women who were involved in the industry, or as I suspected, maybe were things kind of not really, was a lot of fuss and maybe not really all that much difference happening on the ground. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So just for those of you that aren't familiar with Dublin, just to give you a little bit of background about it, it is very much a male-dominated scene. For those of you that maybe are aware, Dublin music and there would have been a very, very vibrant electronic music scene in Dublin around 10 years ago with a much larger scene. It's really contracted of late, and it's now relatively small. It's currently based around 4 to 5 venues. There's been a lot of venues that shut down and are becoming student accommodation or hotels. So it's got 2 large dedicated nightclubs, 2 restaurants which become nightclubs at after hours, and a community centre which is quite significant, particularly for a lot of the female-led initiatives, because it's an event and it's a space where people can run their own events, and it doesn't cost much, but it's quite near the city centre. People can bring their own alcohol, so it's quite a conducive space for people who just want to set up their own events and not run the risk of losing much money. So when I conducted my original research, I found there were many barriers to female involvement in the music scene. And my PhD research wasn't just on electronic dance music, as I'm talking about today. It was also on indie rock music. But there were similar types of issues where women found their confidence, access, and very often instances of male both performers and promoters shutting women out. Many tiers such as Gavanis and Reitzheimer in 2013, Faruga in 2012, Hutton 2006, recognise that female DJs cannot be precluded from the cliques and networks that will allow them the opportunity to become key players within the scene. Many of the women who got involved in Dublin faced difficulties accessing the technical information required to become a DJ. Once they acquired this information, they then encountered the constant challenge of being seen as both authentic and technically proficient. Gavanis and Reitzheimer in 2016 contend that one key gatekeeping practice in electronic dance music scenes is the relationship between technology and masculinity, which negatively affects women who wish to become musicians, DJs and or music producers. I found this to be absolutely the case in Dublin, and as you'll see now as well, in my more recent interviews that continues to be the case, so things haven't changed all that dramatically. So when I was speaking to the women, and I think it was you, Liz, earlier, is it that they're just not that into it? Is that the reason why we don't see all these young women? And that often is the case. You see you see the male DJs and promoters saying, well, they will do it if they could do it if they wanted to do it. What is interesting when you speak to all the women who are DJs, they like their male counterparts. Their love of music and their desire to perform is what motivated them to get involved. However, in contrast with male performers, none of the women I encountered over the course of my research were currently working as full-time musicians or DJs, and very few of them even discussed musical performance as a full-time aspiration. And there are many reasons for that. So these are some quotes from some of the women I just talked to recently. They absolutely had a desire to be a full-time DJ. It's my biggest dream to make a living off my music and performing internationally. Another said, I would love it to be my full-time job, but I honestly couldn't ever see that happening. I think if I'd maybe got more involved in it when I started, I could have. I let my lack of confidence get in the way. Yes, I do have a desire to be full-time DJ, but I don't know realistically if the lifestyle would have fit into my family life. And over again, we see these similar types of stories emerging. So what I wanted to do, I've done quite a lot of research about the experiences of becoming a DJ with my original research. And I wanted to just compare and contrast that with some of the more recent interviews. So, some of the experiences of being female DJs from the years 2007 to 2014. Guys will come up and say and start fiddling with the mixer, say you're doing this wrong or that wrong. Drunk lads acting messing with the mixer. Much less likely than they do that to a dude. We sometimes got sexism from media promoters, bar managers, etc. who talked about how to plug in the mixer. You can see the issue of the mixer becoming a prevalent theme here, but again, over and over again, we found these types of experiences. And the impact that it had on their relationships and family life was also another issue. Definitely affects your life in that way, without a doubt. It affects your relationships. I've gone out with guys and they're like, I never see you. I don't really want to go meet you at 3 in the morning after your gig. I don't really want to stand by the decks watching you play all night. And I can understand that because I don't think I'd want to be that girl. Shock horror, folks. Spoiler alert. Things haven't actually changed that much when you talk to some of the young women who are DJing today. So some of their experiences were, have people assume that I was the girlfriend of the man I was DJing with, not the artist. A lot of the time when I get booked for gigs, people tell me it's because they wanted to book a woman at home and abroad. So sometimes that can amplify the imposter syndrome. There's a lot of sexualization, not being taken seriously, feeling overpowered in a male-dominated situation. Males in eating out culture, making club culture sometimes unsafe for women. I asked if I could DJ and was told through my ex-boyfriend I wasn't welcome to as they were afraid I might break something. Exact words, true story. So, as you can see, the experiences, as I said, these are all, I spent a good bit of the end of June and start of July speaking to these young women who have all either recently or, they'd all become active since my last set of interviews. So these were all women who, since 2014, had become active as DJs in Dublin. And as I said, I wasn't that surprised to find out that they were having some of the similar experiences as the previous one and that I myself would have had. But I suppose I was a little bit disappointed. You would hope, and again, particularly, even just in the context of Me Too and everything that's happening, that maybe people would just, and particularly this last quote is quite shocking. He actually made a joke repeatedly that I wouldn't get a gig unless I slept with him. It was really upsetting. Everyone else, when I told him, was just like, oh, that's just his way. He says that to everyone. That was an experience that a young female DJ had this year. So as I said, you know, it is really, while not surprising, depressing and disappointing that we're still facing with these issues. So I just sometimes think as well, we can all sit here as a group of people and say, and you know, the people who are in this room have made a conscious decision to be either allies or to conduct and make people aware about it. But actually, if we're not infiltrating and dealing with issues that are happening on the ground, the possibilities of those young women continuing and trying to, you know, that gatekeeping that continues to take place will continue to take place. So it can be really problematic. So again, I think someone asked earlier on the previous session as well about what do you think about these female-led spaces, and you can see very much why women are driven to create these safe female-led spaces. And it's so, while it's not always about just building confidence, which is very, very important, sometimes it is around safety as well, but I'll talk about those now and just kind of, again, some of the issues and experiences some of the women have had from it. So, the move the needle. I myself have been somewhat sceptical when I saw this. You know, I really saw it as a corporate entity trying to cash in on a social issue. But actually, when I spoke to the women who'd been involved and to the women from the collective who'd got the funding to run the workshops in a number of places around Ireland, it was overwhelmingly positive. So I suppose the good news from that is if there is some money, you can actually be really positive. It doesn't really matter that it comes from a drinks company. It's been a bit mad. It's gone from strength to strength. From when we started with it, everyone was overwhelmingly positive about it. I have to say, we haven't really hit any hurdles or negativity, which is one of the early responses. So the corporate sponsorship meant that there was increased media coverage, not only of the workshops that were happening, so there was better sign-up, but also what they were aiming to achieve, but also profiling the collective in a positive and non-patronising way. They spent a bit of money making quite a cool documentary profiling some of the female artists. And again, the artists that were involved really felt that was very positive for them. And it wasn't, you know, it just could never, they'd been running their own little workshops the year previously, but they could never have reached the scale that they would have reached or got the media traction they would have without the corporate sponsorship and this really big PR company behind it. So yeah, not all PR is equal, I suppose. What the respondents found though as well is that I think it's really important to get young girls get girls young into workshops so they can see it's easier than it looks and worth giving it a shot in a non-pressurised supportive environment. And that non-pressure, being able to build confidence, being able to have a space where they can make a mistake if they need to and they can feel supported and not feel that there's going to be someone coming in hogging the equipment is really, really important. And another response, it had a huge impact on my confidence and feeling like I was in the right place, in my rightful place. So again, I think these types of initiatives and these types of workshops that we've been talking about earlier can really can have an impact on people who are involved in them. Beyond the workshops though, being part of a collective, I think is something that came up again and again and again with the respondents that becomes really, really important for them. That really strong friendships, the notion of sisterhood, feeling part of a community, but most importantly, networking with and supporting other female Irish DJs. If they get offered a gig and they can't do it, they know exactly who to contact as the next person. So if somebody is looking for a female DJ to fill a quota or whatever, there's somebody else in line that can do it, and it gives people the experience. So that network, and for those who become maybe a bit more established, being able to offer supports to other female DJs and to other people that they know. So as I said, we've all, again from the earlier session, the importance of that network. What being part of the collective allows you to know the other people who are in the network, the other people who are just like you. And that, that again has been very, very positive. The caveat though, just to say, it did come up a little bit again and again around the notion of being tokenistic. For some of the women, they felt that they were always being drawn into defining yourself as a female artist, and there was traps there. The other thing of a lot of promoters, well, that's happened, we put on this gig that had a whole female lineup, that's it, box ticked, we're sorted. We've solved the problem. We put on a load of workshops, if loads of women did, and loads of women didn't. If they don't get gigs, then that's their own business. One of the issues, and again, this came up in a lot of my earlier research as well, was around the very low turnouts often for female-orientated gigs, or for gigs where female headliners. Young women found that they were much less likely to be supported by their male friends and some of their female friends if they were playing a gig than their male friends would be. So the notion that you bring a crowd with you, it was a much more of an issue for female DJs and female bands to find, or to get support of their friends to come and see them play large numbers. Also, as mentioned earlier as well, that notion of a bit of a backlash. Women then being accused that they were being the tokens. They were only being picked to play gigs because they were a girl. And one woman had won a competition to become a resident, and then she was told by a man, when I won the competition, I was told by one man that the only reason I won was because I was a girl. And again, not surprising in the media landscape, but again, one that people found quite troubling was they'd seen articles where I'd been misquoted, so it seemed like I was being competitive with other female artists. So trying to pit females against one another was something that they felt very, very difficult, or was very, very problematic for them. So again, the issues of role models is something that comes up over and over again. And one respondent said, I think that more females still need to get booked to come to play in Dublin. I think more girls should be given chances to prove themselves at bigger gigs in the city. It's quite a daunting prospect getting up in front of a room of people to play music, which is already a very personal thing. But I think it's even worse as a girl, as there seems to be this stigma attached to female DJs of, can they do it? And oh my God, it's a girl DJ. When someone takes the time to look up and see who's providing the music. Again, I think it comes back to the visibility aspect. If people saw more women on event lineups, it would become more normal. But at the moment you don't see them, especially early on in your music career, you feel like you don't belong or you're intruding, and that's a weird sense that maybe it's not for you. So while historically it's been difficult for women to gain access to male-dominated spaces, these initiatives certainly help women circumvent these barriers. I contend, therefore, that it's often not the actual technical or physical barrier that is the obstacle. It is, in fact, the traditional male practice of shutting females out, whether intentionally or not, that continues to be problematic. The increased visibility of female role models, however, can often be the encouragement and inspiration that young women needed towards building the confidence to start a music career. And just to finish up, I think one of the best pieces of advice that I actually went along to some of the workshops just to conduct an ethnography, and Coach, who was a very excellent DJ, when she was teaching one of the other girls how to use the mixer, she said, if anyone says you're doing it wrong, they're lying. And I think that concept of trying to instill that confidence, but also, get rid of the mystique and the nonsense. Anyone who knows how to DJ knows that it's not actually that difficult. So, instead of trying to build it up, maybe we need to kind of shatter the illusions around it. So, if anyone has any questions, trying to keep just exactly on time. So, we might have a minute or two before we go for coffee. But my email address is there and my Twitter handle is there, so you can get me on either of those. Thank you.
In your original study, the 2007-2014, were the women you spoke to speaking about what you can say about this filling of quotas and stuff like that, or is that a newer discussion?
The women then were very adamant that they were really always trying to avoid doing female-only events. They were very conscious around that. And actually some of them have mentioned, because around that time in America and in Britain there had been some quite, there were things like Lady Fest and some initiatives which are, trying to do some of the things that are happening now. And the women in Dublin at that time were very, very conscious not to be aligned with that. They felt that if they did that would put them in a particular box and that would alienate them from the rest of the scene. So actually what you had was the feudal kind of property, you know, they would put up with things for a while, they would say they would put up with things, but they would feel kind of much more restricted about what they could say or where they could act within the industry. So
it seems that you were describing this kind of filling of quotas, and it was also mentioned earlier in the panel discussion at the start. It seems like it's got quite a lot of negative connotations to it. You're saying that people describing it as feeling like the imposter syndrome, feeling like an imposter because of that. Does it look like this, which is becoming a more common scheme, a more common strategy, is what a lot of people are getting funding for? Is that actually a problematic way of approaching trying to bring women through?
I don't know, but it depends on where those quotas are being aimed at. I think the difficulty is around, it's all very well and good having all these small scale events if the biggest music festival in the country still has a really, really abysmal, diversity, not just on its main stage, but in all those little tents and sort of, where everybody locally gets word in, gets in DJing at the electric picnic or all, if those type of places which are accommodated, those big corporate entities don't try to do something about it. Like there's a music festival called Hard Working Class Heroes in Dublin, which has come out and said that they're going to try and do this. So I approached them and asked, I said, okay, what's your policy and how are you going to do it? Do you want to help? But, and they're very little in concrete plans. So they're very quick to kind of jump on the tails of some media coverage and some positive media coverage that the likes of the Gash Collector were getting to say, no, we're going to do this, but actually no plan in place. So I don't think gender quotas are a problem, but it depends on where they're implemented. I think they have to be to the prestige things. And that will probably cause a bit of a backlash, but it should probably overcome the issue, I would say.
I would just add to that the honest implementation and such equality of pay.
Yeah.
How people are treated through that 50-50 initiative will be reported afterwards, and it's in future, so it has to be done honestly with integrity, otherwise any organisation that's doing it in a tokenistic way will be called out by the communities themselves also.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we were talking about female DJs and that came out earlier. What have you experienced anything about like really professional high-end DJs? For example, I was talking about Nina Kravitz and the backlash that she received. People suggesting she was too pretty to be a real DJ and that she was faking the mixing.
Yeah, I mean, and her name comes up all actually in I think 3 or 4 of the interviews that I did. Her name was brought up.
Yeah.
As seen as such a negative, it has such negative connotations because of the hypersexualization. And I think a lot of my female results are very quick to talk about that fear of hypersexualization and the fear of not being able to be feminine, not being able to be themselves, kind of dressing down, toning down their appearance, not maybe looking in the way that they wouldn't want to look, that makes them feel good and happy because they then will be judged as not a serious DJ.
I found that as well with getting women and girls into audio production as well. They feel like they need to be masculine to be taken seriously.
It's a major problem. I tend to try and read to people about their local experiences as opposed to, so I don't really go into it with about their inspiration. I kind of talk about stuff on the ground. But obviously there has been increasing more and more, but there has been some very high profile DJs that have maybe help matters, but then again, it's again, it's that bit of a backlash. So Annie Mac, because she's Irish and she's from Dublin, maybe come up as a reference a bit more than Nina Kravitz.
It's sort of a similar question or point, but I think you thought about contrasting the experiences of women who are in full-time DJing from Ireland as well, and you see if anything's different in their experience that maybe enable them to.
There's so few.
I think something like Saoirse or something like that.
Yeah, they're very few and far between, and nearly all actually, even those who are making their primary sources as money, very few of them actually, when you ask them to state their full role, and they will usually give something else that's involved. So I haven't spoken to it, but there are. I do in an effort to try, and in stark contrast to their male counterparts. So a man could be working a 9 to 5 full-time job in something and will describe themselves as a musician. A woman could be making her primary income as DJing, but maybe won't necessarily describe herself as that. And again, that's part of some of the issues that we've had.
Thanks, Matt. Talking about moving the needle on as a focus, I am pro all kinds of initiatives like this, but kind of puts the locus of the problem on the women if the way to solve it is to work with them, to make them more confident or to give them more skills. And I wonder if you have any sense from the research of where the locus of the, I know it's an interwoven web of situations, but whether it's a top-down problem more than a bottom-up problem, or a bit of both, or if you have any sense of where the action should be focused.
Yeah, I really think if I could figure out where the action should be, I'd give up my job in academia and go and make lots of money with advising corporate PR firms. Probably, I don't know, that's not very clear, but I think it's something I battle with all the time, particularly as some of the issues that we've talked about earlier on today, in academia and trying to encourage women into programs and trying to figure out where they get how they get roles and all of those things. So yeah, I don't know the answer, unfortunately. What I would say, absolutely, kind of raising awareness around some of the issues is fine, but I think, again, sometimes people think once that's been raised or that workshop's had or whatever, then that's it, the problem solved. And we go back over and over again, and we keep hearing this over and over again. Women could do it if they wanted to do it, So I think some of the issues around structure and, again, around transparency, around pay, around the networks, about how you actually get a gig, who books the gigs, who's making those decisions, and trying to get more women into those roles across the industry will help the performers. I think it's so structurally messed up that it's going to have to come. We're going to have to come at it in such a multifaceted way if there's going to be any sort of solution.
The University of Huddersfield, inspiring tomorrow's professionals.